I'm particularly passionate about this question of big data and how data can be used to really help us achieve business outcomes. And I think companies really need to evolve their view of data from purely being an operational input to what it really is. It's a financial asset that has and that can create value. It's one that needs to be managed with all the appropriate controls, reporting, risk management, and governance in order to protect the vast opportunities it can deliver to our business. And these insights that can be extracted from data and the actions they can trigger to deliver bottom line results are becoming more and more important in our businesses today. Customer experiences that are powered by digital technologies can generate a massive growth in alternate sources of data. So it's not just all the legacy infrastructure and all the operating units within the business, but new technology generates new data. And all of these pieces of data can inform every area of your business, from product development to marketing to distribution and all the other disciplines, finance. And often the discovery of new pockets of data and new insights can enable the creation of entirely new markets where none previously existed. So we need to make sense of all of this data, make sure we're extracting the right insights and responding appropriately to what it is that we're capturing. And as businesses, we're going to need to level up our approach, our in-house capabilities, so that we don't fall behind our competitors in the industry. So I'm absolutely delighted, in line with this, to introduce our next speaker, Francis Mumbi, who's the head of the data office at Stanbic Bank, Zambia, will be sharing his insights on the power of personalization, how you can turn data insights into profits in the business. So Francis, over to you.
Thank you very much, Marisa, and thank you very much for this opportunity to share some of the insights and experiences around how we can turn data into profits using personalization. The experience that I'll be bringing is from a financial services perspective, in this case, banking, where we're looking at commercial banking in general. And we'll just share some of the best practices that we've seen can help any practitioner within this field, not only to lay the foundations, but also to have those disciplines which can allow you to scale your data products, which are personalized in terms of delivering service and as well as superior experiences to your customers. Next slide, please. So as next slide, please. Thank you very much. As a departure point, I just want to position the challenge which every business faces. So if you look at any commercial enterprise, and this is not just unique to banking, but to any commercial venture, the challenge that most businesses face is that of sustainably attracting and retaining profitable customers, because that's the ultimate goal. If you can continue to attract and retain customers, customers who continually are engaged with your business, are engaged with your brand, are able to exchange value with you for your services or products, then you know that you are in for the long game. And businesses and companies use various techniques to ensure that they can maintain those sustainable growth curves. One of them is, of course, investing in product and features. Of course, looking at the customers and maybe societal trends. Companies and businesses try to innovate around new features and products, which they are making bets on in the hope that they'll generate interest and attachment to the brand or the business as it is. Next thing is around marketing and sales. Businesses do invest heavily in marketing and sales to drive that brand affinity, that product attachment, and of course to drive that brand loyalty. There are various ways of marketing which companies use, from product placement in popular movies and shows, to direct marketing, to advertisement across multiple platforms which exist within the media and technology fields. Of course, businesses and brands also look at distribution, where they are trying to find ways to bring products closer to the customers within the context that the customer operates in. How do we enable the product to feature within that context and deliver value seamlessly? This could be a balance between physical as well as digital means of product of distribution, but all orchestrated and designed to ensure that customers can remain relevant and continue to drive value within the market spaces that they've chosen. Lastly is around support and service. This comes in two ways. One, it could be trying to fix customer pain points, or it could be trying to educate customers on the product, on how best they can use it to be able to meet their goals. This is true across most fields, from technology to services to banking, where businesses try to balance all these variables to ensure that they can maintain that growth rate. But one thing that we've also learned, I think, through our journey is that data does permeate all these variables. With the right kind of data, well curated, properly analyzed, and well packaged, you can actually begin to surface patterns within your customers' interactions across these different touch points and begin to personalize experiences within an already existing product set. In our experience, what personalization does is begin to extend the realm of possibilities, both for the business and for our clients, by helping you uncover new use cases which the product may not have been initially intended for, but begin to discover new ways of deriving value from the product, both for the business and, of course, for the client. In our experiments and some of the projects that we've run to date, we've been able to experience up to 30% increase, not only in sales, but also engagements on the platforms and solutions that we've used targeted and personalized engagement in the context of contextual marketing, or just a well-orchestrated package of service and solutions, which are presented to customers in the manner within which they are interested to explore, as well as purchase up to a point of where they purchase the product and solutions to meet their ultimate goal. So up to 30% increase in sales and engagements is what we have seen as a promise of shifting from a broad-based way of trying to engage and connect with the customers to a much more personalized approach using data analytics to begin to infer those points of interest and affinities for the target market and customer base. Next slide, please. So how do we arrive at that position? So for us, it's a question of appreciating the field in terms of what is happening in the broader market context. And of course, there are two forces which are really driving this shift. And for anybody within the data space, for anybody within the business space, I think we're living in a golden age where we've got the right balance of technology as well as societal trends, which can help you really drive value for not only your customers, but also drive value for the business as a whole. If you look at the technological trends which are emerging and driving these shifts, of course, is the improvements in computing power, as well as improvements in data science algorithm designs. What we've seen now is there are better ways of analyzing data and interpreting data sets at more efficiently and at scale. The new design of algorithms which allow you to surface in areas such as natural language processing, such as computer vision, do allow you to now ingest and analyze new data sources which were not previously available if you go back decades back. If you look at the new computing paradigms, this is why we're looking at computing on the edge. Of course, in my opinion, the most edge computing device is a mobile device. We've got the explosion of the mobile internet. All these technologies are now enabling us to begin to surface new data points, which can allow us to understand our customers better and begin to design data products and solutions which are more personal and more contextually relevant for the customer at play. Then on the societal trends as well, of course, is the emergence of social media, where, of course, there's a social contract between the social media platform and the users where certain data is exchanged, and those data sets can be used to further understand the customer's preferences and affinities. We've got the globalization of skills and talent, where talent is globally available. And of course, you can leverage talent pools from anywhere in the globe. But most importantly, of course, is a shifting geopolitical and legal landscape, which then does pose a constraint, but also presents an opportunity in terms of looking at ways in which we can extract value to navigate these emerging societal shifts. And all this is being enabled by the emergence of open API architectures, which can allow you now to extend your reach to access data beyond the organizational field. So when you look at the context and just an appreciation of the field and what is emerging and what is come before, we're beginning to see that the ground is fertile for you now to begin to orchestrate and build really personalized experiences, not only in banking, but in all industries as a whole. Next slide, please. So when we bring it home into banking and financial services, what we've been looking at is really to deconstruct our business model and really bring our business model onto first principles. Now, if you go back in the evolution of the banking and financial services industry, the industry is really inherently data-driven. If you look at the origins of extending credit or extending insurance, those products are by very nature inherently data-driven. You analyze the history of a client's credit performance or a history of your loss experience if you're constructing a risk management or insurance product, and begin to predict which customers have got affinities or are suitable for a particular product, and you begin to market and gain interest for them to purchase those products and solutions. We're looking at areas such as investments and investment space, which can look at both fixed income investments. If you're looking at bonds or equity investments, these industries are inherently data-driven. If you look at other value streams such as payments and savings, all these industries aggregate data points from the risk space and the market space to begin to construct products which can allow customers to meet their financial and life goals. And extending that with the power of technology, banking is now evolving beyond just a traditional sense, but now beginning to become embedded in the lives of individuals. And that's where personalization using data analytics really becomes powerful. We're also cognizant of the fact that as a highly regulated industry, we also operate within the constraints of technology, regulation, distribution modes, our operating core, if you're really a legacy bank and transitioning into a traditional player, and of course the pricing and margin. All these variables, even though they present constraints, they are variables which actually add to really building personalized experiences across the field. Some of the examples that we've been able to work on is, of course, looking at recommendations for products and solutions in the lending space. We've been able to build recommendation engines for products and solutions within the insurance space. We've been able to build products and solutions within the ecosystem that we operate in, which are not maybe traditionally offered by us, but can be extended through us by our partners to our clients whom we serve. Going back, next slide, please. Now, how do we then bring this to bear? How do we then really transform data into profits at scale? The idea behind really transforming data into profits is really to understand the business and look at whether these solutions can be delivered at scale. Of course, when looking at personalization at scale is beginning to reimagine the business and beginning to make a shift from the traditional ways of segmenting clients to now a new way of segmenting clients, which is purely data-driven and informed by the customer's preferences and life patterns as observed through the data sets that you are exposed to. For instance, you can have clients who could be in different earning brackets, but when you look at the data, their behavior can be similar because they share common interests, they share common affinities, and those can be engaged and approached in a much more similar manner. But not only that, we will begin to extend thinking into micro-segmentation, where we now not only look at customers within their segment classes, but customers as an individual with a unique set of products which are mass customized to that individual preferences. But for that to scale, of course, you need to put in some foundational work, which over the years we've been investing in Stanbic and Zambia, to ensure that these products and solutions can be scaled and can have the right impact in translating from insight to profit at scale and in a sustainable manner. The first pillar, of course, is around data governance. So data governance looks at a number of dimensions. These include, of course, investment in data governance tools and policies. What we've done over the past few years is really look at our data governance infrastructure to see if it is really fit for purpose and allows us to build data products and services which can be personalized and customized to our target audience and clients. This involves really investing in the quality of the data. Of course, in as much as we've got access to large volumes of data, I think every data scientist and every data practitioner will appreciate that the biggest problem that you face before you build a data model is the data quality. So we'll put data governance and data quality front and center before you even begin to look at building data products which can be personalized at scale. And of course, within the data governance construct is looking at the governance around model development. So model development does come with its own inherent risks, such as inherent biases in the data because we're using historically relevant data. So those governance structures allows us to begin to reduce or eliminate bias within the underlying data sets before translating them into data products and solutions. Linked strongly to that is, of course, the tight alignment between data and business teams. Ultimately, data as a business asset or as a corporate asset requires the right levels of investment, the right levels of prioritization for you to know that you're applying this investment in the high impact areas. So within that partnership, within the organization construct, what we're really focusing on is really building now data feature teams, which look at specific problems which we want to answer around our customer needs and our customer demands. And those specific questions will help us answer questions around how do we acquire more customers at scale, or how do we service and retain the existing base. And within that construct, we're really looking at prioritizing data products, which the business and the data teams can invest in. We're also looking at the talent requirements to support and sustain those products on a long-term basis. And of course, within that, the tight data and business partnerships is really designing experiments. Our approach is that it's highly unlikely that you get it right first time, even if you're using the best algorithms, but really design a series of experiments which can allow you to validate those points of value for your target clients before you can really launch a fully personalized product and solution at scale. So the teams are heavily involved in prioritizing, identifying the talent, as well as designing experiments to validate the hypothesis around the growth factors which can help you translate from insight to profit. Third point is around engagement and fulfillment. When we ran some of the earlier experiments within this field, what we discovered was that there was a gap between the time that the insights are generated and the infrastructure behind the business to translate that recommendation to a closed sale. In this case, what we're really looking at now is leveraging the API ecosystem internally within the bank for building solutions using robotic process automation to bridge the gaps between separate systems or silos within the business and ensure that this fulfillment happens seamlessly. This calls for opening up certain APIs which are previously closed to allow integrations between the recommendation engines and the core banking systems. We're looking at enhancing our channel interoperability. This could be across our mobile banking, our internet, and our social real estate. And of course, linked to that is also plugging it into benefit realization, where we now create a whole feedback loop to see and validate if the value has been created. So critically thinking around the integration of the data products into the business as usual concept of the company is really important and key to achieving success. Lastly, on that front is how do you then trigger the initial engagement with the client? Again, which communication channels do you employ? that calls for a full end-to-end study and understanding of an end-to-end engagement model for you to connect with the clients, generate interest, and of course, translate into a purchase and long-term value creation. Lastly, is around compliance and ethics, which I believe is the underlying when looking at personalization at scale. I think in the recent years, we've seen examples where client data may not have been used for intended purposes. Currently, we're seeing regulation coming up on how client data is used around the data subjects. What we're looking at is to see how we can bring the client onto the table when creating these personal experiences. Ideally, because of the limitation of skills and technology, designing our personalization model of personalized products is really based on permission gained from the data subject or the data owner to allow us to engage them around those products and solutions. So what we're doing is giving our clients opt-in or opt-out options into accessing some of these data products, really understanding, allowing our clients to understand what we're using their data for. And of course, something which is evolving and not yet fully developed is now how we evolve the value exchange. So if you look at the evolution of data as an asset, it's an asset to the businesses who harvest data from clients like us banks, because we're into that business and social contract with our clients. But ultimately, the data belongs to the data subjects. What we're now thinking of is how do we evolve the value exchange between ourselves and the client who's now receiving that personalized experience through a set of products or recommendations that we provide on a long-term basis. If I, as Francis Mumbi, do allow my data to be used for an intended purpose, how do I gain from that use case beyond just getting richer recommendations? Is there a financial gain or a financial incentive that comes into play? That field is still evolving, but we believe that it does bring to bear some interesting use cases, some interesting business models, which can be explored within this field of data and personalization. So in short, all I can say is that data is now the new integration asset, which now brings all the business functions together. Generating data, profits from data is now the new frontier for most industries across the globe, and most importantly around financial services, where we are inherently a data-driven industry. The differentiator would be how best we use these assets to better understand our customers, design products and experiences which meet their financial and life goals. And those 4 pillars are key to doing it at scale. Thank you. You can take some questions.
Wow, Francis, thank you so much. It's a massive journey you guys have been on. How long have you been at this? I mean, it's an amazing amount of work that you guys have done.
So we've been at it in earnest for the past 2 years. We're still evolving our capabilities across the board. And of course, being cognizant of just what's happening within the society space as well as the technology space, and seeing where we can really create value for our clients. Something that I didn't really touch on around the ethics is really drawing the line between spying on your customers and really providing relevant recommendations. So that's a tightrope that we're really keeping within our ethical compass to see that we don't cross them.
That's so true. It's that intersection between being creepy and adding value. You've got to find that balance, and I think it's different for every business. I really am so impressed at how you've thought this through, and the level of sophistication that you are looking at this incredible asset with in order to drive growth. Have you seen successes? Have you started to see? Are you proving to the business the value that you're delivering?
Definitely, like I positioned in the opening slide. We've run a series of experiments that have demonstrated that we can actually drive and increase sales by up to a factor of 30% from the baseline level. And of course, that is exciting. We've been able to identify sales opportunities which can potentially increase our acquisition base by almost 100%. But of course, the challenge is really bridging the gap from insights to fulfillment. So that's when now the operational constructs comes into play. How integrated are your recommendation engines to the existing channels where customers interact with? How seamless is that experience of translating from insight into a purchase decision? So that process of integrating and optimizing brings that number down within the factor of up to 30%. But definitely demonstrated value to the business and really trying to see how we can optimize and really augment the capacity of the people in the front line. If you look at banking, traditionally it's relationship based. Led to the development of relationship banking model. But if you begin to scale, a relationship manager can only connect so many clients. But by bringing personalized data around their client base, you can really now expand and augment that capability.
Francis, absolutely amazing. I'm blown away. I've seen into the data of many large organizations around the world, and there are very few who have the level of sophistication and capability around managing data, having the governance and the ethics components in place over and above the ability to really extract insights to make a real difference to the bottom line. So awesome. Congratulations. And thank you so much for sharing it with us.